Hello, I hope the fan is not bothering. There's like 2 fans here, so I mean I tested it, it should not be bothering, but just in case, I'm sorry. Hi, it is the 3rd of January, Monday, 2:43 p.m. I was actually gonna take a nap and I already set my alarm because I was tired after exploring the campus today. Because today is the 3rd, I arrived yesterday, which is the vlogs before this, and I was tired, but then I can't sleep, so yeah. And also sorry the lighting not that good because I don't really know where to put it. This is like the best place where you can like see me clearly. So I got inspired recently by this video, by what Miaw did next. I will link it down below. She is I've been watching her channel for, I've known about her channel for a few years. Actually, I believe I found her channel while I was still in my eating disorder. She's an eating disorder recovery coach, if I'm not mistaken. But I need to hang my towel outside. I'm gonna do that. Why is my towel hanging here? Okay, I hung my towel to dry outside. So I watched that video recently and then I got inspired, and I actually made a video, not this kind of video, but another video about my eating disorder last year, like at the end of the last year. It's supposed to be one of the last videos of the year, but then I didn't like it, so that's why I didn't upload it. So I'm doing something similar today, also talking about that topic, because I was inspired by that video. And actually 2021 is the year where I have officially, also sorry if I look bad, like I said, I was walking around campus this morning with my friends and had a lot of fun, and it was kind of hot, so my face looks like this, and I forgot to wear my sunblock. So anyway, I watched that, and what was I saying? Oh yeah, 2021 last year, which was like a few days ago. 2021, what's wrong with my voice, is the year when I finally recovered from my eating disorder. I don't know when, I can't actually pinpoint where it was, my full recovery. I can confidently say now, in a way that in like 2020 or maybe 2019, I couldn't say that I have fully recovered from my eating disorder. But in those previous years, I thought I had, which I think I'm going to get into in this video. But I can safely say 2021, fully recovered. And I'm going to tell you how I know I'm fully recovered. And actually what Miaw did next is a video about that, but I'm going to tell you how I know I am fully recovered. So in her video, she was talking about how I forgot what was the video called, but I link it down below, how she went into recovery, something like that, how she knew she had to go into recovery, something like that. For me, to be honest, I'm going to tell my story. I got my eating disorder in 2016, technically, that's when it started, but I would say it full-blown eating disorder in 2017, but it started in 2016, small steps. When I was 14 years old, I got body shamed by a family member, and that is what started everything. I have a whole video up here telling my story. I might remake that video in the future because I don't like it that much, but yeah, that's just full story if you want. But trigger warning, I forgot to include a trigger warning in the video, I'm sure. I do mention my weight and I think how much I used to eat or whatever, so just in case you want to watch the video, trigger warning. I'm sorry I didn't include it in that video. I will include trigger warnings. Oh yeah, sorry, trigger warning. In this video, I am going to be talking about eating disorder. Okay, I'm sorry. So yeah, that's when I got my eating disorder, when I was 14, and then full-blown eating disorder when I was 15, and it was just terrible, and there were a lot of things that happened. But in brief summary, it was just so vicious. That's how, if there was one word, now looking back on my eating disorder, I don't know how I would have described it at that time. Or maybe if you asked me at that time, I would deny that I had eating disorder. I didn't want people to know. But at the same time, I wanted people to know, which I will get into. Now looking back on my eating disorder, how I would describe it in just one word is legit just vicious. Just the word vicious. Because it is something that, number one, it was invisible for me, and that was the hardest part actually, just the invisible part of the eating disorder, because I feel like still the stereotype of eating disorder, especially just like one eating disorder, I feel like when we think about eating disorder, we think of anorexia, and even at that time also I would think of that. I didn't know there was such thing as binge eating, I didn't know there was such thing as drunkorexia, I didn't know there was diabulimia, I didn't know all that time. So even I had the stereotype of, wait, I want to crack my back. Even I had the stereotype of anorexia as an eating disorder, and that's like the only one. People just starve themselves and that's an eating disorder. But yeah, so a lot of people have that stereotype, and for me, yeah, that was the hardest part. It was invisible because if you looked at me, you wouldn't guess. Because I have never, in my eating disorder, during the eating disorder, never ever did I get to a point where I actually lost a lot of weight and you could see it. Because I would restrict. That's the thing about me that time. I never counted calories. I just trying to starve as long as I could, or try to skip meals as much as I could, or eat as little bit as I could. And that was just how I did it. And then what that turned into, which is quite common, which I didn't know at that time. I thought I was the only one going through it, but apparently it's a very common thing that people go through, is restriction and then binging, which is what happened to me. I would be like restrict. And I remember there was a point where I went for 4 days without food. I don't know how that got past my family. I still don't know how. I don't know how it got past my grandma, who I live with. Okay, I somehow. Oh, that was my alarm that I put on to take a nap just now, and I didn't take a nap. Anyway, so I didn't eat for 4 days at one point, and then I just couldn't do it anymore, and I caved in. So it was always like that, and it was, for me, it was always, I'll start next week, I'll start on Monday. So I'll start on Monday very motivated. I won't eat, or I'll eat very little, or I'll just go as much as I could. But it will only last for a while, and then I would just cave and just eat a lot of food. And the reason why I ate so much food is because I was so hungry, and then it would just go back to like, I felt like I wasn't disciplined enough, to be honest. I felt like why can't I restrict? Like, why can't I starve myself for a long time? I felt so stupid. I felt so weak. That's the thing. I didn't feel disciplined enough to restrict for a long time. And I used to look at pictures. I used to trigger myself. I used to look at pictures of people who are anorexic. I used to look at people who had this disorder, and I would look at them, and people who, like on YouTube, I would watch Eugenia Kun. I'm not trying to like get in trouble here by saying her name, but not trying to put her on blast also. But to be honest, I did watch Eugenia Kuni to trigger myself last time, and I used to look at that, and I didn't look at now that I'm here recovered, or even when I was younger, maybe before the eating disorder, maybe I would look at Eugenia Kuni and think, oh no, this, like, she needs help, or like, why doesn't her family step in, or something like that, and I would feel bad for her, and I would know that she needs help and it's not healthy. But when I was in my eating disorder, I looked at Eugenia Kuni and anyone like her, anyone with that kind of body, people who were already like very thin and very deep in their disorder, I would look at them as inspiration. So I would go to her channel and I would watch her and be like, I want to be that kind of anorexic. As messed up as that sounds, I've never said this in real life. I'm gonna get super real in this video. It might get a bit disturbing, okay, my thoughts last time, but I'm just gonna tell you. So I used to look at her as inspiration. I used to wonder why I wasn't disciplined enough to restrict for that much. I used to wonder how she did it, and I wish that I would be as disciplined as that. Even if no one did this, but imagine if like you came up to me and you were concerned about me and you were like, Miaw, and you show me some very, very anorexic person and you're like, Miaw, if you don't stop what you're doing, you're gonna end up like this, you're gonna look like this. I'd be like, yes. Seriously, that time I would say yes, because in my mind I was not a good anorexic. I remember I was blaming myself all the time. Why can't I be a proper anorexic? Why can't I starve myself? So it was just this cycle of start on Monday. Sometimes it wasn't starving myself. Sometimes it was just, I made up so many diets. I remember like, I didn't even Google diets and stuff. I remember there was 1 week where I tried to only eat fruit. And then obviously that wouldn't last a long time, because who can only eat fruit? And then I would just cave in and just eat a lot of food. And then I'd be like, okay, I'll start again on Monday. And the cycle continues. And I would just never get anywhere, because it was just restrict, binge, and I just felt so guilty all the time. At that time, I thought I was the only one going through it. I mean, I knew other people had eating disorders, but I still felt alone. I felt like I was the only one who wasn't disciplined enough to be an anorexic, and it was just bad. I remember one time I went to my Sunday school Easter party, and the food there smells so good. And on the way there, actually in the car that morning, on the way to church, on the way to the party, in the car, I remember telling myself, and this is so sick, or even like that morning while I was getting ready, I can't remember, but before I came to the venue, I remember telling myself, I'm not gonna eat today. I'm just not gonna eat. I think I also said I'm not gonna drink. And I went there and I did not eat. And the food there was so good. It was a very fun party, by the way. A lot of kids, me and my friends. I remember I was playing piano for praise and worship, and I vlogged it on my music channel a while ago. I'll try to link it down below if I can find it. I'm pretty sure it's still there. I don't think it's on private. I'll try. If I find that vlog, it's called Easter Party Vlog or something like that. It's from 2017. was during the eating disorder. If you watch that video, you could never guess. You could never guess. I never mentioned it, I never showed you or anything. See, that's the thing, like online versus real life, you don't know what people are suffering with. On that day, in the party, I did not eat, and the food smelled so good. And I had two of my friends there with me, and we were hanging out and having fun. Two of them ate. They even asked me like, you don't want to eat? You don't want to eat? And I'm like, I'm not hungry. I was so hungry. And the food, there was even ice cream cake, and I don't think in my life I've ever had ice cream cake. Bro, I was so tempted to try that thing. And the kids were also excited. I'm not kidding, the food smells so good, okay? I did not have one bite. I had Sunday school teachers come up to me and say, Miaw, you're not eating? Are you sure? You're not hungry? Are you sure? I'm like, no, it's okay. No. Lies. All lies. So yeah, I remember there was this one time when I was trying to starve, and then at the end of the day, like that evening, my best friend gave me this macaroon that her mom made. And her mom is a very good baker, and that time, it was the first time of me eating a macaroon, I think. Especially, like, I've never tried her mom's pastries at that time, if I'm not mistaken. So my best friend gave me one that her mom made, and I was telling myself I'm not gonna eat it. And then I ate it. It was so good, but I felt so guilty because I said I wasn't gonna eat anything today. So yeah, basically I think that kind of gives you an idea into what my mind was like. Obviously there are other stories, some other incidents, so many other incidents actually. But the main point was food was just something that wasn't normal anymore. And I remember at the time, and this breaks my heart when I look back on it, as someone who's already fully recovered, and I'm gonna tell you how I know I'm fully recovered later. But now looking back on it, I remember during that time, I used to miss my old days when I was younger, and I was a kitten, when food was just a part of life and not something that controlled my life. I remember during that time wishing like, I couldn't, to be honest, at the time, I couldn't even remember a time when food was not something that had so much emotion, so much guilt tied to it. I remember thinking like, wait, how did that feel like again when food was just normal? I couldn't remember, because every day during my disorder, everyday food was not normal anymore. It wasn't just like something I ate when I was hungry and stopped when I'm full. It wasn't just something I ate for like breakfast, lunch, dinner, necessity in life. No, it was something that I had to rotate my whole life around. Everything in my life had to be arranged around this. Like if I knew I was maybe going out to dinner tonight, oh okay, I can't eat lunch now, and it was just so unnecessary, and at that time it was just so obsessive, and that's not my fault. I did not ask for that, but I treated it like it was my fault. When I couldn't restrict enough, or I couldn't starve myself enough, I blamed myself that I was never gonna lose weight, that I was never gonna be happy. That was the thing, I thought I would never be happy until I was skinny, which now as someone who is fully recovered, is not true. So at that time, it was just, food was just not normal anymore, and it had so many emotions tied to it, and it was just so vicious, because food is something that I have to face every day. My body is something that I have to face every day. I can't just leave my body at home. When I go out, my body goes with me, and I think I got some sort of anxiety during that time. I've never had anxiety in my life. I don't have anxiety right now, thank God. I know a lot of people suffer with that, and I'm very blessed to not have that kind of issue. But I think at that time, looking back, I didn't realize it. But now looking back, I think I had some sort of anxiety, because I remember I would just get so freaked out over food, or if I ate a little bit too much, or if I'm going to eat later, okay, then can I eat now so that I can eat later? It was just so, like so strict and so rigid, and there was just no room for anything. And if I messed up, it was just bad. It was just bad, catastrophic. I blame myself. Maybe I'll eat even more, and that's how it turned into binging. And I'd be like, okay, I'll start again tomorrow. Or I would just feel like everything was ruined, and I would feel so in control when I wasn't eating. I don't know how to explain it to you. I just felt so responsible and so in control when I felt hungry. I was addicted to that hollow feeling when you're hungry. I just get so addicted to that. Only then did I actually felt skinny during that time. Like legit, when I felt hungry, I just felt so good. And now that I have been educating myself and watching channels like What Miaw Did Next, and reading and hearing about other people's stories. Now I know that actually a lot of people with eating disorders, it comes from wanting to have some sort of control, which was so true. Like, I didn't even know that. And at that time, I remember I felt so... There were other things going on in my life at that time, a lot of other things. I had PT3 going on, which is a public exam, which I got so stressed about. I had my body image issues, which were terrible, mind you. Terrible body image. It was so bad. I would look in the mirror and just cry. And if I just thought I looked even a bit fat or anything or ugly, even my face I used to hate, my hair I used to hate. It's just so bad. And I had I believe I had some family issues during that time. I had a spiritual issue. Yes, people. My house became haunted. I'm not kidding. I lived in fear for months. And at that time, I wasn't a very strong Christian. So there's that. So I had all of these things going on, and I really felt like every time I didn't eat, it was just so... I'm in control. So now to hear that eating disorders have a lot to do with feeling in control, it makes a lot of sense, because that was how I was, which is so crazy because I'm not the only one. You know, that's the thing. Like, to hear all of these things and to hear the research and to hear channels like what Miaw did next, it's like, wow, I wasn't the only one, and all these symptoms are very common. So that's why it's very good, like, I'm educating myself now on the subject, and I've actually been inspired because I have been interested in psychology for a while. I think if I didn't do film, I would be doing psychology, because the human mind does amaze me. It really does. It's very interesting. And I thought about being a counselor, so I think maybe in the future, if I want to go into that kind of career path, I'll maybe try to become an eating disorder recovery coach, because I want to help other people. So anyway, I forgot what I was talking about, but yeah, that just gives you a sense into what I was going through at that time. And like I said, the worst part is it was invisible. People would judge me. Family members wouldn't take me seriously. It's not like they didn't know, guys. At first I tried to hide it, like when it first started. I remember one of the first things I did when I first started, I still remember, one of the first diets that I did was to only eat dinner. I didn't eat lunch, I didn't eat breakfast, I would only eat dinner. That was the very first thing I did, I'll never forget. And then everything spiraled off from there, like all of those other things. I would try to go whole days without eating. I would try to go a day, like whole days, only eating one biscuit. So bad. And it's not like my family didn't know, because at first I did try to hide it, but then after a while, like, everyone knew, guys. I didn't even care anymore. Like, everyone knew. My family, not my friends. My family knew. I was weighing myself like 20 times a day. I'm not kidding. Before I eat, after I eat, random times during the day, I just go to the scale, go to the scale, go to the scale, go to the scale, just to see my weight. I was so addicted to it. My family knew. Like I said, I didn't hide it. They knew. And the thing is, they never took it seriously. And like I said, maybe it's because it was invisible. I never got to the point where I was very skinny. Never ever got to the point where you could even see my collarbones, I think. I don't even have, you know. And it's just never happened. And all I wanted to do was be okay. I'm getting emotional. But I never got to the point where I looked like I needed help. And I was just getting judged for it. I remember my family members, some of them, they would talk behind my back. I will never ever forget. Some of them would talk behind my back and say like, oh, why does Miaw care so much about being fat? Like, why is she like not eating? Like, it's just so hard, because they don't get it. They've never had that struggle, so they don't understand why it's so hard to eat. Why is it so hard to eat? Just eat. They don't understand that eating disorders, according to Miaw, are a mental illness with a physical symptom. So all you see is the outside, but there was so much stuff going on inside my head. It was very, very dark. Not just body image, but like I said, a lot of other things were going on in my life. But you could only see the part where I wasn't eating, because I would never tell anyone about my problems or what I was going through. I was depressed that time. I didn't know, actually. I knew there was something wrong with me, and I just called it extreme sadness at that time. But now looking back, I know it was depression, but I didn't know I had depression. So just crazy how I had anxiety, depression, and an eating disorder, and how I know I had anxiety and depression. Now looking back, is because I don't have that anymore, and now I know what it looks like. And I remember how it felt like. It would be so nerve-wracking, even just to step outside the house, even to walk across the street. I would think everyone is judging me for my body. I would think everyone is looking at me. I would think everyone is looking at how fat I am. I would think that even like simple things like walking past a reflective surface, which I mean typically we do tend to check ourselves, right? I was not normally checking, like there's like a normal time checking yourself in the mirror. Oh, I look good or whatever, like, oh, does my outfit look okay? But, and I still do that now sometimes, but oh, does my hair look okay? But at that time it was just obsessive. I would look past, the first thing I would check is how I look like from the side. My side was my enemy. My side, how I look like from the side, it would just crush me when I saw how fat I was. I would look and oh, I look so fat, and then it would just ruin my whole day. Reflections reflective surfaces were my enemy also. I never got the help that I needed, and as a result it just got worse. And when I heard my family members talk behind my back, I remember at one point, I had one family member like tell me, you know, just eat a balanced diet, because she knew that I was struggling, that I was trying to lose weight, but she didn't, I guess she didn't, like, she just thought I was trying to lose weight, but she didn't think that I had some kind of disordered relationship with food. So she just said, you know, just eat a balanced diet, just eat less carbs. I don't think that's something you should say to someone who already has disordered eating, because I took that advice a little bit too far. I did not eat less carbs. I ate no carbs. I'm not kidding. I tried to do that, and and then I stopped eating rice at one point, and then when I stopped eating rice, I remember that family member scolded me, and then I said, oh, you said to eat less carbs, and then she said, eat less carbs, not no carbs. But the thing I don't understand is to this day I still don't understand why my family members never ever saw my very disordered relationship with food. Not that I'm trying to blame them for my eating disorder. I'm just saying that it was very weird. Like, don't you think there's something else going on? But no, all they did was judge me, and that to this day is something that is very hard for me to let go of in the past, and very hard for me to move on from, because I was struggling so much every single day, along with all those other things in life. And then I had this eating disorder I had to live with every single day, and then I had to hear judgment for it. Why are you not eating? Like, it's not so hard. Like, why are you so scared of getting fat? And then I remember one family member said to me, like, you know, people go through different seasons in life. Some people are fat now, then thin later. Some people are thin now and then fat later. I don't know how is that supposed to help me, by the way. Like, what kind of advice is that? You're gonna tell me that I'm gonna be thin soon? Great, then I'll just continue starving myself so that I get there faster whenever that season of life comes. I'm sorry, I'm still mad. And like, I remember at one point during the time where I stopped eating rice, it was for a while, by the way. I stopped eating rice for a long time. So I would only eat lao, basically, no matter how salty or whatever. It actually wasn't that bad. But no, now I like rice. I love rice, guys. So, and then I remember one of my family members, and this scarred me to the heart. I remember, I will never forget this moment, okay? I was eating in the kitchen, not eating rice as usual. I was eating either lunch or dinner, and then two of my family members, who were the ones who were usually talk behind my back and judge me eating disorder, they were sitting in the living room, and I could hear their voices. And I remember one of them said to the other one, like, they were talking about me to each other, but loud enough so I could hear, if you get what I mean. So I heard very clearly what they said. And one of them said, oh, wait till she faints in class, then she knows. And I heard that, and I can't remember what I felt, but I remember feeling, like, definitely I felt so hurt and so sad and so betrayed, because all I wanted was help. As weird as this sounds, I did want help. I did not want to stay there. I was not okay. I knew I had an eating disorder. I knew. But I couldn't get out of it by myself. And I didn't know what it was like to be like happy living every day anymore. It's not like I became suicidal. Just to clarify, I never got suicidal or anything. But even in that, what Miaw did next video, she explained it very clearly, and it really is the same with how I felt. It wasn't like I got suicidal. It wasn't like life had like I wanted it to end. It was just like every day it was just not enjoyable anymore. It was just so dull. It was just so dark. Because like I said, food was an everyday part of life, and I had to live in my mind every day. I had to live in my body every day. And life just became this endless, like, oh, I go to sleep tonight and then I wake up tomorrow. It's the same thing. So that I was already struggling with all of that, and I already felt like there was really no point in life anymore. I just felt like I wasn't worth it. I remember I told my friends, like, I just don't feel like I'm worth it. I wasn't being dramatic, by the way. I meant what I said. I feel like a burden to everyone. Which is another thing that Miaw said. So cool. Same. I felt like a burden. I felt like a total burden to everyone. I felt like everyone's life would be so much better without me, and that sounds so dramatic to say, but that is how I felt. That was my mental state during that time. It was very, very dark. I didn't even feel like I deserved help. I wanted help. I didn't feel like I deserved it. So to hear my family members say that just wait until she faints in class, then she know. Faints from not eating rice, basically. That's what she meant. I just felt so betrayed, because I already felt so judged every single day, and I was already struggling, and I was already judging myself every day. And then to hear someone say that they just want me to faint in class so that I know, so that I learn my lesson. Don't do this eating disorder stuff anymore. See, you fainted now. And to be honest, at that point, I was already in a dark place that I wanted to get to a point where I would faint. So, and all of those judgments just made me want to show them that I could be anorexic. You know, it just made me want to go further down into this illness, just to prove to them that I am sick and I need help. I wanted to get to a point where I was thin enough to be anorexic. Thin enough to be anorexic. I say that in quotation because like anyone can have an eating disorder at any size. But yeah, I wanted to be that stereotypical just bones, you know, so that I would show them, see, I have an eating disorder. I'll show you I can be skinny, and you have to take me seriously when I get to that point. But I never got to that point, so I was never taken seriously. And it didn't help that I remember one time I didn't want to eat rice, and then so I ate some bread, and then I binged on some bread. And then later on, when a family member came home, another family member reported to them that I didn't eat rice, but instead I went and ate all that. And that made me feel so bad, like I ate so much, and then someone noticed and told another person. So yeah, I don't know why I'm telling you all this. I don't know how we got into this part of the story, but it was just a very vicious cycle that was totally invisible to the not totally, I mean, you could see that I had I'm pretty sure you could. Yeah, I think my family definitely saw me checking my weight all the time, and not wanting to eat, and not eating rice, and just all of these harmful things I did. So I still don't know how ignorant they were that to the whole thing. I would definitely, I think I would definitely see it, you know, that this is not normal. If someone else was doing it, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't. I don't know, maybe I would be the same if I wasn't educated on it. So I can't totally judge them for it, but I do wish that at least one person took it seriously. No one did. So that prolonged for I mean, if someone had noticed it and tried to get me help, then it wouldn't have lasted so long, I think. But because no one did, then instead just made it worse with all the judgment, with all the words. How long have I been talking for? Sorry, this is gonna be a long video. It just made it worse, and just worse and worse and worse. And like I said, I never got to the point where you could visibly see that there was something wrong with me. So it was just bad. So throat's dry. I got a new bottle finally after 3 years. Drink water, eh? So how I recovered, I have no idea. I cannot tell you how I recovered. It was a long process, because my eating disorder started in the end of 2016. I would say it started in 2017 though. 2018, 2019, 2020. 2021 is when I recovered, so that's around 5 years of recovery. If I'm being honest, during 2018 and 2019 and 2020, I thought I was recovered, but I was not. I would still, in 2020, I had some kind of a bad episode, a while where I had very bad thoughts again. Not as bad as before, but they were bad again. I just felt so, yeah, it took a while. I never went into a recovery facility. I never even knew there was such thing. I don't even know if I would be able to afford it, or if they were offered where I stay. I don't know. If I went to a therapist or counselor, I just recovered by myself. Not saying that, oh, I'm better than anyone who goes into inpatient. No. I'm just saying that I managed to recover by myself. I would say that the thing that probably triggered me to want to recover, not just from my eating disorder, but from everything else. Like, a lot of things were happening in my life at that time that were part also that were kind of contributing to the eating disorder. I feel like, because like there were a lot of things that I felt were out of control. I just didn't feel worth it, and I just felt my life was just falling apart, to be honest. At 15 years old, I remember at one point, I think it was during my birthday when I was 15 years old, and my birthday is in December, so it's like at the end of the year. I just realized, and this was definitely like a God thing, because I never thought about this before, and this thought really helped me and saved me. Because at some point when I was 15 years old, during my birthday, around that time, at the end of the year, I realized that I cannot live like this anymore. It was just simple as that. I cannot live like this anymore. 6 words. That was the thing that helped me. Because I realized that I had spent too long insecure. I had spent too long hating myself. I had spent too long trying to change these like things I can't change. I had spent too long being too worried about things, and just all of these things that I realized I had been in darkness for too long, and I just realized I couldn't live like that anymore. How do you live like that? I used to look at my friends, I used to look at people and wonder, like, how do you eat breakfast, lunch and dinner without thinking about it too much? How do you eat without binging? How do you eat without starving? You know, like, and I couldn't live like that anymore. It was as simple as that, 6 words. And then slowly from there, 2018, 2019, 2020, I recovered. Simple as that. And not simple, by the way. I'm just saying that the thought that came was literally eye-opening. And it didn't just apply to my eating disorder, it applied to my hair. Like I said, I used to hate everything about myself. I used to hate my hair, I used to hate my height, I used to hate how I looked. Everything in life, it just didn't feel worth it. It just didn't feel like life was worth living anymore. Not that I was suicidal. It just felt like there was nothing exciting in life. It was just, every day was just the same thing. I would get stuck in my head and stuck in all of those destructive thoughts and behaviors, and stuck in restricting binging, and trying to hide myself from the world. And there are a lot of things that I stopped doing. I remember, like, in Girls Brigade, every week after praise and worship, we would have a sharing session. We would go to the front and share about maybe an answered prayer or anything that God has done for us, you know. And I would be the type to go and share every week, because I love to talk in front of people and I love to talk about Jesus. But I stopped doing that for a while. I stopped for a few months, a long time, because, like I said, I just didn't feel worth it. I felt like a burden to people, and I felt bad that people had to see me talk in front. I felt bad that people had to see me, this ugly fat mess, talking in front of them. That was how low. That gives you an idea of how low I felt. I felt bad for my friends. This is genuine. Genuinely felt bad for my friends. I wrote it down in my diary. You can watch my reading my diary when I was 16 or 17. Oh wait, no. That was in my diary when I was 15, I'm sure. I remember, like, feeling bad for my friends when they wanted to take pictures with me. I was so sure that none of them wanted to take pictures with me, but they felt bad for me, you know, because I just felt so ugly. I felt so fat. I just didn't feel worth it. I didn't feel like anyone deserved to have me, this broken mess, in their life. And that was genuinely how I felt. And I felt very, very, very low. but you could not guess it from the outside, which is why I will never judge anyone who has any mental illness or anything and be like, oh, but you look fine. No, you can look totally fine and have a whole storm going on the inside, and I know this because I've been there. I would say the most destructive thoughts and my worst moments were probably the most invisible. You couldn't see them. So anyway, 2018, 2019, 2020, I recovered. So, slowly recovered. There were a few points where I thought I was already recovered, by the way. But like I said, I've realized I've only fully recovered in 2021. How do I know I'm fully recovered? I have no such emotions tied to food. Nothing at all. Besides enjoyment. When I enjoy the food, of course I have enjoyment and I like the food and I'm so happy. Other than that, nothing at all. When I say nothing, I mean nothing compared to all those emotions I used to tie to food. Now it's like, okay, I'm hungry, I'll eat. I don't see food as this rule anymore. I mean, this thing that has rules tied to it anymore. I don't see food as this thing that I must rotate my whole day around and make sure, like, I don't see food that has a number anymore. I don't see food as it's just gonna make me fat. No. It's like, if I eat it, I eat it. And I'll stop when I'm full. And if I can't finish it, I'll save it for later. It's just very neutral. And I feel so grateful to be able to say that, because like I said, at that time I did not know how it felt like to have food as neutral anymore or normal anymore. And now that I'm here again, when food is just a normal part of life, I feel so grateful, and because I know what it feels like to go through life where food is it just had such a control on my mind, and all my behaviors around food were just so obsessive. That's the word I would use, so obsessive. And now it's just like, food is food. Like just now I had my lunch, I had some bread, because my brother bought bread for me yesterday and he forgot to check the expiry date, and I also forgot. It's expiring in 2 days, so I have to quickly finish it or like share it with my friends. But just now I had a peanut butter sandwich for lunch. Yes, for lunch. Peanut butter sandwich. Student life, gotta save money. If last time I would be like, it's 2 slices of bread, okay, I can only eat half, or like maybe, and then now it's like, I'll just eat a sandwich because I'm hungry and I want a sandwich right now. And then if I'm full, I'm full, and I'll eat again later when I'm hungry. Done. It is just so neutral. To be honest, even what Miaw did next said that she never knew full recovery was possible when she went into recovery. If I'm being honest, also I think it was the same thing, because I used to hear people's stories and watch people's eating disorder stories, and I remember I would hear this common thing that people would say is that it is something that you have to struggle with forever. Like you will always, like even if you get better from your eating disorder, you would still have to struggle with those thoughts and those behaviors forever. And I thought that was gonna be me, but now I know that full recovery is possible, and so does Miaw. Like she also has fully recovered. So if you're anyone out there who has also been told, I don't know how, I think I found out from like videos or like people on YouTube or something. I always heard that thing of eating disorder is something that you kind of have to deal with for the rest of your life. If you're someone who has heard that, I really don't believe it anymore. Like I really don't, because I can fully say right now I am fully recovered. Now does that mean I don't have body image issues? No. I recovered. I've learned that recovered doesn't mean healed, and recovered doesn't mean cure all. What I mean by recovered doesn't mean heal, is because I still have to heal from the wounds that came from my eating disorder. I still have to heal from the very big wound in my heart that came from the person who body shamed me when I was 14, relentlessly body shamed me to the point where I got an eating disorder that tormented me for a long time. I still have to heal from that wound. I still find it very hard to forgive that person. I'm very honest with you right now. I'm a Christian. I follow Jesus. Jesus said to forgive. I am very in the wrong because I still cannot forgive this person after all these years. I'm just being honest with you. I still cannot heal from that wound. One day I will. What I mean by recovery is not a cure-all. It's because I still deal with body image issues sometimes. I still have my days when I feel a little bit more bloated. I don't feel so great. I don't look so great right now. But recovery is the best thing. I'm so grateful that I am in uni right now and I am already recovered from eating disorder, because let me tell you, if I was still in my eating disorder and I came to uni, I would be terrified of that freshman 15. That would be the only thing on my mind if I came here. I already know what I would be thinking. I would be like, okay, I'm gonna eat only this much every day so that I don't gain freshman 15. I'm not gonna, like, now that I'm here and I am recovered, it's like, I'm still gonna try not to gain freshman 15, but I'm still gonna eat normally. I'm so grateful that I've recovered after 5 years. Wow. Wow. So it was a slow process for me. I'm not saying it's quick. If you are someone who's struggling and you want to recover, it's not a quick process because it's not just the eating. It's not just the eating. I would say that even if I tried to make myself just eat more during that time and just eat, it wouldn't solve anything because there was so much patterns and thoughts inside here and all those behaviors that just eating more wouldn't fix. Just eat more and you'll be recovered. I don't believe in that because as someone who has had an eating disorder, I can wholeheartedly say that the eating part of it is just a part of it. And all of the issues inside are the main part of it. And I've slowly recovered over the years and undo all that and heal from a lot of things, and a lot of things have been left in the past. I've got better with my body image. I've got better with my face. I actually would say I love the way how I look now. And now food is something that I can enjoy, and I'm trying to eat healthy, but I don't restrict anymore. And I still want to exercise, but not as a way to punish myself. I would do it to enjoy and to get fit and to sweat and whatever. It's definitely not something I look at as negative anymore. Life is just so much better now, And some of the things that I used to struggle with that time are like gone. I'm not being haunted anymore, and my relationship with God also has got a lot stronger, and it's just a lot of things in my life are just so much better now. And my mindset and my attitude and the way I look at life is also different. I'm so grateful for recovering because I know there are people who struggle with this for years. There is hope. I can't promise anyone full recovery. I'm not in the position to promise anyone that. I can't tell you how to recover. I'm not a professional. I'm just here telling my story. But I can tell you that there is hope. And at that time, I did not have hope. But it is at that moment when I told myself, I cannot live like this anymore. How can I go through life like this? How can I go through life just having this torment inside and outside? How can I go through life like that? Who wants to live like that? And that's when I realized I don't want to live like that anymore. And that's how I started my slow recovery. And that's how I got to where I am today. So if you're watching this, you can't live like that anymore. You deserve help. Even if you don't feel like you deserve help, that was definitely me. If you feel like you're a burden, you are not. If you feel like you're not worth it, that's wrong too. You are worth it. That's my story of my recovery. It's been a long journey, and now I'm not ashamed to say it. Back then, if you would ask me if I had an eating disorder, I would say no. But now, here I am just telling you my story. And if anyone would really ask me in real life, I would tell them honestly. You never know, like, I could help someone, like telling them and being honest about it. So even if I didn't help you, and like I said, I can't tell you how to recover, I'm not a professional or anything, I hope that I gave you a message of hope. No matter how dark it is right now, there is hope for you to get better. And like I said, you can't go through life being tormented like this. Do you want to? You can't. And that's the thing I had to realize, and I had to take steps like, no one really is gonna save me. I have to take the steps myself. That's kind of the hardest thing to do, but you have to do it. And I had to undo a lot of things, a lot of behaviors, a lot of thoughts, a lot of patterns. Ask Jesus for help. Like I said, my spiritual relationship with God has got a lot better now. I thank God for everything. Even water now. So I drink it when I'm thirsty, or when my throat is being a bit sore, like right now. But last time I would try to drink a lot of water because I thought that it would just make me full and not want to eat, and it would help me lose weight. So even the water now is very neutral. Like, water is water. It hydrates me. I'm gonna go now. I'm sorry this was a long video. I really hope you enjoyed. I wanted to film this now because my roommate is still not here yet, and my classes haven't started, so I don't know when I can film a video like this, and I really wanted to because I want to get a message of hope out there. And being someone who is a follower of Christ, I have hope in salvation. I have hope in what happens after I die and where I go after I die. And I also have hope in the present life that God gave me. I don't just have hope in salvation after I die. I also have hope in anything that is in life right now. God put me on this earth for me to glorify Him, live out His word, and bring people to Him, and also help other people. And that's what I want to do. That's why I really enjoy life right now, even with its ups and downs. I still put my trust in God, and that in itself is already brings me so much peace. I need to enjoy life in a way that pleases God and not follow the world. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go now. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless your day, your week, your month, your year, your life. God bless you and your families, and don't forget the Lord Jesus Christ loves you very much, and you are worth it, and you deserve to get help, and you deserve to be free from the darkness and the demons inside you. Wow. One last thing.